Hello, this is Roland. I want to continue reading from the Khaboris manuscript, the ancient text written in Aramaic, the language that Jesus spoke. And I'm going to continue with the next Beatitude. But let me read the ones up until this one so we have some continuity. Matthew chapter 5. When Jesus saw the crowds, he ascended the mount. And when he was seated, his disciples drew near to him. He began speaking and teaching them, said, "A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose home is in Ruka." In previous videos, lectures, I said that Ruka is a word that the translators wanted to leave in the original Aramaic. But it means something like spirit or God's spirit. Or Holy Spirit, okay? To be in Ruka, in the Spirit. Remember Paul sometimes said that someone was in the Spirit? Okay, well that's the idea. A heavenly attitude is theirs. Those whose home is in Ruka. Theirs is a heavenly state. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those mourning their wrongs, for they shall be comforted. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those with humility, they will gain the earth. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those who hunger and thirst for justness, they shall attain it. A heavenly attitude is theirs, those whose love is without conditions, they will therefore receive unconditional love. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about love. What is love? Well, you know what love really is it's two things. It's a lot. See, God has love. John said God is love. God has love. He's the loving creator. And he created love. Now, when you look around you, all you see is compulsion. People being forced to do something. Everywhere people are forced to do something. Pressured to do something. Challenged to do something. Teased to do something. See, obligated to do something. And where's freedom? Well, we had some freedom here in America. We still have some, but we're losing it. Tyranny. Everywhere you look, people live under tyranny. Look around the world and look at the tyranny, religious tyranny, political tyranny, all kinds of tyranny. Personal tyranny, you go into homes and often someone is a bully and the others cower in front of the bully. See, so you have tyranny everywhere. Well, Christ came to set us free, okay? And freedom. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Freedom. Well, God created freedom. See, look, this is really interesting. God created the whole universe, which abides by laws. Atoms, molecules, protons, electrons. Everything has to obey laws. And if you study, which I have, I'm an amateur at it, but I really enjoy it. And I came upon it late in life. Physics. I came upon it late in life. It's only the last maybe 4 years that I've been studying physics. But I'm making quite a bit of headway. It's amazing how much I can learn. Okay? I love it. Love physics. And I love math. Okay? And I'm studying calculus too. They're beautiful. But what I was going to say is that the laws of physics has laws that govern what happens, and those laws are mathematical and they're very precise. Okay, so when you drop something off of a high place and it falls at 32 feet per second or 9.8 meters per second, that's what it does here on Earth. Okay. And it obeys that law. It doesn't have a choice as to what it's going to do. It has to obey law. So you understand that. 1 + 1 = 2. See? The square root of 4 is 2. You see what I mean? These are all laws. So God created everything, and it's marvelous when you look at the creation, built upon laws, and I love laws. I love the law. However, there's no love. See, there's a certain affection, you know, the little rabbit, you know, gets close to his mom, and the cow loves to eat the grass, okay, and so there's a certain attraction or affection there, but love, see, doesn't exist. Everything has to obey the laws of nature, the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry, the laws of mathematics. Well, God created love. And how did he do that? Well, he gave us freedom. He gave us freedom so that we would have an opportunity to go one way or the other, to do what's right or not do what's right, to love, see, based upon whether we love right or not. Of course, once you do wrong, then you begin to fall into a system of compulsion, don't you? Have you noticed? When you do something wrong, you begin to lose your freedom. See? Even if when you take a substance, you start smoking marijuana or cigarettes, or you start drinking, or you start eating the wrong kind of food, see, or you start spending too much money, or whatever you do, it's not quite right. See? Or here's another form of compulsion. I'm just giving you examples of what happens when you don't love what is right and do what is right. Let's say you are angry at your partner or angry at your child, let's say. So you're angry. Well, you shouldn't be angry. You should be patient. Nothing to be, see? Especially if there was nothing to be angry about, that you're prideful and willful. You wanted your will to be done, and so you became angry. Well, then afterwards, what? You feel guilty. You feel guilty for the anger, which was wrong. So then what? Then you feel under an obligation to do for them. So a lot of people take advantage of that. They tempt you to become angry. Then you feel guilty, and then they know that you'll be good for doing extra work for them or giving them money or something to assuage guilt. See how that works? But it's compulsion. So God created love. Okay? He gave humans opportunity to go one way or the other, to love him or to love themselves, to love what is right or to love selfish advantage. See? Well, you know what happened. A lot of people fail and they keep failing. And when you fail, then you fall under the system of compulsion. But luckily, provision has been made. God made a provision for us to come back to freedom again. That's what Christ came for. Then you have another opportunity to this time go the right way instead of the wrong way. Okay? So I forgot how this all began. Oh, we're talking about love. So God created love. Okay? So there's that. So there's that. Now the other thing about love is that, and that's why you mustn't, see, you can't force people to be good. There's an old saying that God allows people to make mistakes, and the devil forces people to be right. Something like that. I'm not saying it quite as well as it originally was, but you get the idea. Or you've heard the other expression, God wants volunteers and not conscripts. See? So a lot of times parents make the mistake of trying to force the children, of forcing the children to try to make them be good. See, kids are not naturally naughty, but parents can set a good example and set limits and be watchful, okay, and to explain things and so on. But don't expect them to be little angels, because they're not, okay? So they're going to do naughty things. But you can't force them to be good, and you can't make them to be good. You can't change people's character. A lot of kids have been ruined. A lot of parents tried to shape. They said, well, I'm going to shape my child's character, or form character, or make my child good or act nice or something. So they go about trying to manipulate the child in pressure and cajole seduce and challenge and the child to be good, see? And all it does is cause the child to rebel, see? So what you do is you set a good example, you make some rules, okay? And you set limits and so on, but you don't try to force them to be good, see? Or force them to be sorry. You'll either do one or two things. You'll create them to be a slave of you. See, there goes the freedom. A conformist slave. Or you'll tempt them to rebel. Then they become rebellious. And then they fall into a system of compulsion where they can't stop rebelling. See, both are not good. A lot of parents have discovered that years later. When the child has grown up and their child has rebelled and the child is in jail or something, sometimes a parent then sees that they should have not been so forceful, willful, very willful. Shouldn't have been so willful, so hard and so dogmatic and so rigid with children. But so what were we saying? What was I saying? So I was saying that. So there's that. So God creates love and He creates freedom. Okay. Now, the other thing about love is that for us humans, the love that we can know for our Creator is at first just a yearning for truth, a yearning for something innocent, something pure. We don't even know how to describe it. It's a yearning. Okay, that's as close as we'll get to love for our Creator, at first anyway. Okay, but now let's talk about love between people. Okay, so now you can see, after this preamble, that most of the love between people is not really love. It's some form of obligation. People are guilty. They're guilty. Parents are guilty. Kids are guilty. Everyone's guilty for resenting other people, resenting them, judging them, not being honest with them, pressuring them. See, we're very guilty. And so to assuage guilt, rather than standing back and looking at our own error and knocking it off and going to the other person and saying, I've been pressuring you, or I've been being dishonest with you, or I've been being phony with you, or I've been being willful with you, and I'm sorry. I see now that's wrong. I'm sorry. And mean it. Okay, and mean it. But instead of doing that, no, the person instead goes overboard to try to act nice, to be extra nice, to do more and more and more, to make up for the guilt and for the judgment and for the falsity. You see what I mean? That's not real love. And it creates an obligation, and the other person can sense that that's what you're doing. They sense that it's self-serving. You're just trying to make yourself look good. You're trying to get rid of your own conscience. See, you want to be seen as right, and the idea that someone doesn't see you as right, that your anger and your judgment, your resentment was exposed. You don't like that, so you put on an act and do more and more and more. See, so it's false. So that's what you see a lot of times. Okay. What is love? Well, I'll tell you how it can start. May I? And Christ said what? He said, "Blessed are they whose love is without conditions." So in other words, if you look at someone objectively, okay, with a little bit of understanding, maybe not a lot, but a little bit, you look at them objectively, and so you see them making an error, let's say. Okay, so they're making an error. Can you see that the person is making an error without judging them? It's very difficult for a lot of people. See, they just have a very difficult time not judging. Can you see that without judging? Can you look at your husband without judging him? See, maybe he's making a mistake, maybe he's not making a mistake. Maybe you're so resentful toward your husband that everything that he does, you judge. Okay, so you get the idea. It is to not judge the other, is to not resent the other people, not hate them. And judgment in this case means with a little bit of resentment or puffing up. See, if you can discern, see, if you can watch what they're doing, and let's say they are making an error. Okay, so you discern it, but without judgment. Okay. That way, the next day, if let's say see, some parents, for example, their kid makes a mistake once or twice or many times. See, sometimes it takes a long time for a child to finally see for himself. See, a parent would be better off to keep reminding the child to brush his teeth or her teeth every night. Time to brush your teeth now. Okay, every night. And the child forgets. Did you brush your teeth? No? Okay, go brush your teeth. Okay, every night. Even if you have to do it 1,000 times or 10,000 times, 10,000 nights. Then finally, one day, as the child gets older, okay, one day the child will see for herself the wisdom of brushing her teeth. She'll see it for herself. And then she'll brush her teeth without you saying anything. But most parents run out of patience, which is also, see, love is also patience. You see, if you observe someone without resenting them, without judging them, see, without getting your ego involved, okay, you see how that's patience? Okay, so most parents, they run out of patience. See, they run out of patience. And the third night or the fourth night, then they get angry. How many times have I told you to brush it? Don't you ever learn anything? Don't you listen to me? Can't you even just do that? Some kind of awful thing. See? Or the parent tries to manipulate the child. They run out of patience of patiently reminding every night, which is easy. What's so big a deal about that? I could remind someone every night for 10,000 nights in a row. It wouldn't bother me. Then one night they see for themselves, and then, okay, then they're free. They're free. I let them continue to let them be free. See, it's not permissiveness. Permissiveness is not to even worry about it or say anything about it. No, I would keep reminding them, time to brush your teeth every night, so it's not permissiveness. But there's no pressure in it. There's no ego in it. See? Or some parents will try to seduce the child. You know, if you brush your teeth, I'll give you $5 nights in a row, I'll give you $10 or $5 or, see? Or they threaten the child. If you don't brush your teeth, if I have to tell you one more time to brush your teeth, then I'm taking away your iPhone. See? Or they try to challenge the child. Why can't you be good like your sister? She always brushes her teeth. Or how are you ever going to amount to anything in life if you, see? Those are all mistakes. So, with patient watchfulness and reminders, one day the child will see for herself the wisdom of brushing her teeth. See? So that's love. Okay? Love by not hating. You see, love by not, can love your husband by not judging him, by not resenting him, by not having a grudge against him. But what I was going to say is then, see, so then the parents, when they form that judgment, which most parents do, they judge their child. Then the next day, the parent says, I knew you were going to forget again. I knew you were going to do that again. You always do that. See? The judgment, they see the child with the eyes of yesterday. They see the child with the judgment of yesterday. How much better it would be to not form a judgment. To just see, and if something needs to be said, don't forget to brush your teeth. Then the next night, okay, same thing. But then one day, the child remembers. And then, well, that was nice. You brushed your teeth. Well, that's nice. You don't give them a reward. You don't try to bribe them. See? That's nice. Good. Now on with the show. See how simple that is? Well, okay. I think you get the idea. That's love. Okay, so now, can you look at your husband without judging him? But now let's look at love. So love is not hating. You can love other people by not hating them. You can love them by not judging them, by not resenting them. You can love them by being patient with them. See? Real patience, not phony patience. Not secretly judging and resenting them, and not secretly being angry at them, not secretly wanting something from them. See? But just not judging. Okay? Then, let's talk about from the husband now. Husband. So you see how that's unconditional love? Christ said, blessed are they who have unconditional love. What did he say? They will therefore receive unconditional love. There's another way of putting it. So you can, remember I said you can love by not hating. You can love by not resenting. See? We think of love as some kind of a sticky, gooey thing. Sticky and gooey and kissy-kissy and huggy-huggy. No. Love is not resenting, not judging. Okay? Now, what did Christ say? See, he said the same thing, but he just said it a little differently. See? He said to forgive others. Do you see how you can love by not hating, love by not resenting? See? So can you also see that that's the same as forgiveness? See? I don't have to forgive someone because I didn't judge them in the first place. If you don't judge them in the first place, then you don't have to forgive them in the second place because you didn't judge them in the first place. Okay? If they're making a boo-boo, you see it. Maybe they're not making a boo-boo. See, when we fall into judgment, we fall into thinking, and our tricky mind plays tricks on us. And pretty soon, like I was saying earlier, you can get to the point that some women are so resentful toward their husband, so judgmental, that he can't do anything right anymore. Everything he does, she judges. See? Well, see, but can you see how that's another form of enslavement? See? See? It's not freedom. See, freedom is in love, there is freedom. When you judge another person, then there's no more freedom. Then you feel guilty for it. You feel obligated, so on. Okay. Now. Oh, yes. So Christ said, they asked him, how many times should you forgive a person? 1 time, 10 times? He said, I forget what he said, but he said something like 1,000 times. Okay. Just, in other words, always forgive them. See, don't form a judgment. Remember I said how a parent can remind a child 1,000 times, 1,000 nights. Did you brush your teeth yet? Okay, go brush your teeth. Okay, 15 minutes later. Did you brush your teeth yet? No? Okay, brush your teeth. See? So you do that 1,000 nights in a row. But if one night you become resentful, very angry and resentful, see? And egotistical and willful and ugly, really ugly. See? So that's not good. So you keep on forgiving 1,000 times, keep on reminding, keep on not forming a judgment. So Christ said, but remember Christ also said, if you don't forgive others, your heavenly Father won't forgive you. If you resent others, well, God doesn't resent you, but you have the burden of having. See, you won't be open to receive His forgiveness. See, His forgiveness is always there. It's always there, but you won't be able to receive it. See, because resentment blocks you from love. You can't love and resent at the same time. You can't resent another person and receive God's love. You will get His patience. Well, He'll be patient with you. Okay, you will get that. But feeling God's warmth and His approval, okay? Not if you're resenting other people, your husband, your wife, your kids, your neighbor, your mom, your dad, you see? Okay, now let me just say a couple of words to you men. You men, so what is love then? Love for your wife is seeing her as a person and not using her to support your ego. See, men marry women to support their ego. Okay? So early in the marriage, she supports your ego by making you feel like you're a real man. Okay? And then later on, when she starts to resent you, then maybe that supports your ego too. When you resent her back, your resentment supports your hateful ego, you see? But much better to not use your wife. And resenting is also using to support ego, see? Judgment. So see your wife as a person, okay, not as an object of use. And as you get older, see, then you have kids and so on and so forth, and you become more, as the years go by, you become more fatherly. More fatherly, okay? That's what she needs from you. And the last aspect of love that I'll just touch on briefly here, love is correction, okay? Correcting others' naughtiness. And that's a dad's job, see? Now, perhaps his wife, for example, she probably had a father who wasn't there for her. So she's angry at men, and other men have taken advantage, so she's angry at men, and she's probably, perhaps even rebellious, willful, angry, okay? Well, you need to set a good example. And if she does something naughty, then you need to point it out, see? And the kids, it's your job to point it out. See, so love is also correction. What do all of us egos need? All men, all women, kids. See, we all need correction. Why? Because we're born, and we can't help it, but we're born with a little bit of Adam and Eve in us, a little bit of Adam, a little bit of Eve. So we're naughty by nature. See, the Catholics say concupiscent. That's what it's a very good word. See, we're naturally naughty, naturally a little bit prideful, a little bit egotistical. We shy away from the truth. See, and we're selfish. Okay, that's the way we are. That's the way that's our packaging. Okay, but in life we should be overcoming it. See, as you get older, you should be getting better. Not bitter, as one man said, but better. You should be becoming better, not bitter, he said. It's a very good way of putting it. You should be outgrowing your selfishness. That's the purpose of marriage. To work out the ancient thing that happens between men and women that began in the Garden of Eden, and to learn to be unselfish. See? So you should be becoming less selfish, less angry, less bitter, less self-serving, less willful. See? As you get older, you outgrow it. That's called growing up, maturing. Okay? So along the way, we need a little bit of correction. See? The trouble is most people don't correct us properly. They correct us with judgment or with resentment or some anger or something. And so, but that tempts us then to rebel. So you have to be wise enough. If someone corrects you, even if they don't say it quite right, and you see that they're correct, then you say thank you. Thanks. Okay? Well, hope you enjoyed this little talk, and next time, Lord willing, we'll talk about the next Beatitude.